"Where are you going dressed up like that?" my wife asked me when I came down the stairs in a suit and tie. "Me and a bunch of guys are going to have a bachelor party. We're going to meet at the Kit Kat Club." "The Kit Kat Club? That's a place to pick up girls." "No, but even if it was, so what? I'm a married man, and I'm not going to cheat on you. Mike's brother owns it, and he'll give us half-price drinks." "I'd rather you didn't go. I already told the guys to sign me up. I gotta run. I don't know how long I'll be, so don't wait up." And with those words, I headed out the door. As I drove away from the house, I thought about what had just happened. I don't know if Cora realized it, but our brief conversation was almost word for word the same thing she'd said to me when I'd come home from work 6 weeks ago and found her dressed to the hilt and ready to go to her bachelorette party. The only thing different was that she went to Starlight Lounge instead of Kit Kat and didn't mention the half-price drinks. From that night on, she went with the girls every Thursday. I protested, but to no avail. One Thursday night, I called her and told her I was hung up at work and would be home late. She said she would leave a pizza in the microwave for me and give me 3 minutes to do it. I was parked at the end of the block when she came out of the house. I let her go ahead a full block and then followed her. I didn't know if she would notice me or not. If she wasn't doing anything wrong, she wasn't likely to look to see if she was being followed. Even if she was doing something wrong, it was unlikely that she would worry about being followed because I was too stupid or ignorant, right? I don't know if she thought I was stupid or ignorant. Maybe she just didn't realize she was throwing out red flags. She left for work in a nice dress and heeled shoes, and she couldn't leave work and go to the salon in them. She had to come home and dress even sexier. At least it was sexier to me, to meet the girls at the lounge. Having to come home later and later, having to shower as soon as she got home. She couldn't use cigarette smoke as an excuse because it was illegal to smoke in bars and restaurants. She drove to Starlight and parked in the last row away from the building. I thought that was odd, since there were plenty of empty spaces closer to the door. I parked so that I could observe her car, but in a way that she wouldn't notice unless she was specifically looking. I knew the location of Starlight, and there was no way I could walk in and go unnoticed, and I didn't want to, so I had to be sneaky. I went in on Wednesday and found out who would be the cook on Thursday. A $100 bill and a promise not to make a scene allowed me to walk through the back door into the kitchen and take a seat where I could see the bar and the dance floor without being noticed. Or rather, I could be noticed, but in my white coat and chef's hat, I was sure it wouldn't occur to anyone to take a closer look. When I got to a spot from which I could watch, Cora was already seated. She was sitting at 2 tables pushed together with 3 other women and 4 guys. She had just broken off a kiss with the guy sitting to her right when I took my observation seat. I pulled out my phone and turned on the video, and for the next 2 hours I watched Cora dance with the guy sitting to her right, kissing him and letting him play grab ass with her. After 2 hours, the group started to disperse. I thanked the cook for his help and headed to my car. It took about 15 minutes before Cora and the guy she'd been hanging on to most of the evening got out and walked over to the car she was parked near. That made it hard for me to see what was going on, but I saw enough. True, they weren't in the back seat, but a kiss told me all I needed to know, and I went home and went to bed. When Cora got home, I was still awake, but I pretended to be asleep. The bedside clock showed 11:05, and it was 9:35 when I pulled out of the parking lot, so she had plenty of time to do the dirty work. And she took a shower before she went to bed. When she got into bed, she snuggled up to me, kissed my neck, and whispered, "I love you." "I'm sure you do," I thought, lying there waiting for sleep to take me. Friday at work, I was thinking about what I should do. Cora was cheating on me. It was a given. She may not have given up on herself, but to me, kissing another man, dancing with him, letting his hands grope your body, was cheating as far as I was concerned. To the point of divorce? That was something I had to think about. No matter what she did, it had no effect on our sex life. Even after 10 years together, we still had sex 3 or 4 times a week. I was making love, was she? I pondered this for 3 or 4 days and decided to give her a taste of her own medicine. She would come home and dress up in her finest clothes to go to her girls' night out, and I would come home from work and dress up for my boys' night out. Of course, there was no bachelor party, but Cora didn't know that. I'd just head to one of the sports bars across town, kill about 3 hours, and then come home and shower right away. That should get her attention because I never showered at night. I always showered when I got up in the morning. I savored the sour look on Cora's face as I left the house and headed to the sports bar. Halfway there, I decided against it and headed to the movie complex on Perry Avenue. After taking off my coat and tie and leaving them in the car, I headed to the complex, picked one of the 6 movies, bought popcorn and a Coke, and sat down to watch and kill time before heading home. I put my coat and tie back on and headed home. Halfway there, the thought occurred to me that if Cora was waiting for me, it would be easier for me to fool her if I had alcohol in my mouth, so I stopped at Buckskin's for a drink or two. Buckskin's was a country western bar that had bands playing on Fridays and Saturdays. The Carlos Washington Band was playing that night, and I was able to get a seat at the bar and order a PBR, a type of beer. I sat, drank my beer, and watched couples dance two-step on the dance floor. When it was over, the band played Straight's song, The Chair, and people lined up to dance the cowboy cha-cha-cha. I got up from my chair and joined them. I stayed there for the duration of Electric Slide and then returned to my bar stool. I ordered another beer and was going to drink it, watch the dancers until I finished it, and then go home. That all changed when Carlos announced that he had a few requests for the Ride Cowboy Ride, and before he could finish his announcement, a hand touched my shoulder and a voice said, "Hey, cowboy, they're playing our song." I turned around and saw Brenda Asher standing there. She pulled me off the bar stool and then dragged me out onto the dance floor. On the way out, I asked her how this song became our song. "Because it would be the first song we danced to." Can't argue with that, I thought, as we switched to a western swing. I had known Brenda for about 5 years. She worked for the same company as me, but in a different division. Western swing is not a dance during which you can talk, at least not talk, so I just kept my mouth shut and concentrated on the dance. When Ride Cowboy ended, the band moved on to Coopertown Road, and we stayed on the floor for the dance, and when it was over, Carlos said the band was going to take a break. As we were leaving the venue, Brenda said, "Grab your drinks and join us at our table." "Who's we?" "The girls from work. You know them all." She followed me to the bar, and as I picked up my drink, led me to 2 tables pushed together where 5 girls sat. I knew 4 of them, but not the 5th. As we approached the table, Brenda said, "Hey, girls, look what I found. Our very own dance partner." Then she turned to me. "You know all the girls, right?" "I know Sally, Marcia, Patty, and Mary, but not this young lady." "Pauline French," the woman said, holding out her hand to me. Bob Dalton," I said, taking her hand and shaking it. I sat down and asked, "What brings you ladies all here on a Friday night?" "A bachelorette party," Marcia replied. "And why do you ask that?" "Friday is the most appropriate night for a date, and I can't imagine that fine ladies like the 6 of you don't have dates." "We're all married," Sally said. "We just have bachelorette parties one Friday a month. Friday because most places don't have groups during the week. What's your story?" "A bachelor party." "Where are the other boys?" Patty asked. "Not one, just me." "I guess there's a story here," said Pauline. None of the girls knew Cora, except those who had met her at the company social events, and I felt the need to unload myself, so to speak. And heck, maybe a female perspective would help me understand. So I told them the whole story, right down to being a mirror image of Cora's actions. "But you don't know if she's had sex with anyone else?" Brenda asked. "Not yet, but I'm thinking of hiring a private investigator to find out for sure." "Why don't you just talk to her?" Sally asked. If I did that and she denied it, I'd be right back where I started. If I had the detective's information, I'd at least know if she was lying or not. Then Mary said, "Maybe she's doing the same thing I did a few years ago. At my last job, there was a guy who kept hitting on me even though he knew I was married. Eventually, it pissed me off and I decided to mess with him. I turned him on and let him think he was getting closer and closer to getting me and sent him home each time. Maybe your wife is doing something similar? So don't confront her," Brenda said. "Let her confront her. All you have to do is take turns dancing with us girls, and when you get home, you'll smell like perfume. I'll even take care of that. Just before you leave, I'll spritz you with the perfume I carry in my purse. Your wife will smell it on you, and I bet she'll give you a hard time. Then just tell her that you only do what she does, and if it's good enough for her, it should be good enough for you. And then see what happens from there. Do you think this will work? What do you have to lose?" "It'll certainly be cheaper than hiring a private investigator," Patty said. "It cost my brother over $3,000, and the detective didn't find out anything. I decided to go along with it because, as Brenda said, what have I got to lose?" I danced with 6 girls until 10:30 p.m., thanked them for a fun evening, and headed for home. Cora was already up and waiting for me when I got home. "Hey," I said, "I thought you'd be in bed by now. I'll meet you in the bedroom. I need a quick shower," and headed for the shower. She followed me, asking, "Why do you need a shower?" "You never shower at night." I ignored her, threw off my clothes, and tossed them on the bedroom floor. Stepping into the shower, I quickly cleaned myself, and when I got out, I found Cora sitting on the bed with my suit in her hands. "You said you were going out with the guys, but this coat doesn't smell like you've been out with the guys. I'm not crazy about this, Bob, not in the slightest." "You're not happy about it? Let me see if I can figure it out. You come home from work every Thursday, dress sexy, leave the house for a bachelorette party, come home late, shower right away, and go to bed. Tonight I came home from work, dressed in my best, went out for a night out with the boys, came home late and showered right away. So you're saying it's okay when you do it, but not okay when I do it? When I was upset with you for doing it, your attitude was like this. Tough shit, Bob, get over it, but now that you yourself say you don't like it, I'm supposed to care. It doesn't work that way, Cora. What's good for the goose is good for the gander. Nonsense, Robert. I date girls, not boys. You said you were going with boys, but from the smell of your coat, you were obviously with girls. There you go again. You're allowed to dance with guys at your bachelorette parties, but I'm not allowed to dance with girls at my bachelor parties. I don't dance with guys when I'm out with girls. You don't? Hold on a second, I said, pulling out my phone. I pressed all the right buttons and brought up a video of her. You don't dance with guys when you go out with girls? Then who, pray tell, is the woman in this video if not you? She watched the video, her face pale, and I could read her thoughts. What else does he know? Came through loud and clear. Now explain why you can't explain the kisses, his hands all over your body, and you do nothing to stop him. The silence was, as they say, deafening. Come on, Cora, spill it. I want to know everything. Right down to what happened in the man's car when you left the cabin. She looked at the floor, took a deep breath, and then looked at me. Yep. Please don't interrupt me until I tell you everything. I've been acting like a bitch. His name is Brad, and he's the Casanova of the company. He slept with all the single girls and 2 married girls. Apparently, he decided it was my turn and started hitting on me. I always thought he was an asshole because of the way he would pursue a girl, get her, stay with her for a month or so, and then dump her and go off to another. When he decided I was his next target, I decided to let him down, let him think he was getting something, and send him home. For weeks now, I have been playing with him, letting him think he is getting closer to getting what he wants. Since you seem to know that I made out with him in his car, you should also know that we never made it to the back seat. He was sure he got me that night, but he has no idea that what happened that night took him as far as he was going to go. Last night he went that far again and he thinks he wore me out. But he'll never get me. I am yours, and he will never get what is yours, and what will always belong to you and only you. I had a good time bullying him, but now that you know, I'm going to have to stop playing with him. I was going to finish him off once and for all next week, but now I'll just do it tomorrow at work. I'm not happy about this, Cora. I don't think you've thought this through. Have you ever heard of date rape drugs? Don't be silly, Bob. Brad's not the type to do that. Listen to yourself, Cora. You just got done telling me that asshole Brad has slept with most of the girls you work with, including some married ones. He's a proven asshole. Seems like he wants to nail it on the bedpost with every woman he works with. He can damn well resort to drugs to get his way. I've never looked at it that way. She paused for a moment, then said, When I'm done with him at work tomorrow, I think I'd better do it in front of witnesses, and then let all the girls he hasn't gotten yet know what you said about the bedposts and the drugs. Are we going to be okay? Like I said, I'm not thrilled with what you were doing, but I guess I caught on in time. Cora got up, undressed, and then said, Come to bed, baby, and I'll prove how much I love you. Did he buy it? Totally. He's hooked to the gills. Are you going to keep seeing Brad? I probably shouldn't. Bob is great in bed. I love him to death. And I keep promising myself I'll stop seeing Brad, but then I start thinking about him and I back off. I probably have another week or so, since Brad never stays with the same girl for long. I hope you know what you're doing. Your hubby is a great guy and you're in danger of losing him. I'm just glad you were there when he was telling his story, and thanks for relaying the story I told him. I'm also glad I was there and that he didn't recognize me. Of course, he only saw me once at your wedding, and I was just one new face among many. I was just lucky that I was able to sneak away and call you while he was on the dance floor. Sisterhood sisters are forever, and they always have each other's backs. Right? Damn right. And then both bumped fists, saying, Sigma Gamma. Gamma Rho always rules.